Here are two positions in the xy plane. They're also vectors. They're displacements from the origin. And you can think of subtraction as adding to one vector the inverse of another and get the same results that I'm going to talk about. But here we'll just look at these as xy positions. So for any two positions, a minus b is the vector from b back to a, and that's the thing to memorize. If you think of subtraction as pulling you away from position A, then the resulting vector is how you get back to A from B. And if you know where you want to start and end, just call the start position B and the end A and calculate A minus B. If you subtract 0, 0, the origin, from any position, you get a vector from the origin to that position. So another mental model is that subtracting B makes B the origin. Some examples: if we want this vector, we set A as the position 3, 5, B as the position 7, 2. The subtraction is pulling us away from 3, 5, and the resulting vector leads the way back. Conversely, position 7, 2 minus position 3, 5 is a vector that leads back to position 7, 2. And this works exactly the same way with 3D positions in x, y, z. And of course it works the same with scalars. So for two numbers, a minus b represents the way back to a. So 3 minus 7 is minus 4, which is the way back to 3 from 7. And 7 minus 3 is 4, which is the way back to 7 from 3, if you want to look at it that way. So that was differences or deltas between things, which made me think of counting, which also uses difference. So here's a range, A up to B, and the square brackets mean that A and B are both included in the range. So how many integers in the range? In other words, what's the cardinality? Answer is the difference, b minus a plus 1. So if your vacation lasts from the 3rd to the 7th inclusive, how many days is that? It's 7 minus 3 plus 1. You have 5 days off. You don't need to count on your fingers. It's always the difference plus 1, and that's the thing to memorize. For one-based ranges, you don't need to calculate b minus 1 plus 1. The minus 1 plus 1 cancels, so the cardinality is just b, and that's what makes one-based counting intuitive. You can translate any range to be a one-based range to make it intuitive. Just subtract a minus 1 from a and from b. And zero-based ranges are very common in programming. In that case, a is 0, so the cardinality is b plus 1.